Today our topic is what is Angular. Before we learn this topic, we have to build foundation. So first we will be learning what is SPA or single page application. Then we will be learning differences between model view architecture versus component based architecture. Then we will be learning Angular history differences between AngularJS and Angular. And finally, what is Angular? Let's get started. Our first topic is what is SPA or single page application. So let's read out the definition. A single page application is a type of web app that loads just one HTML page in the browser and then dynamically updates the content without refreshing the whole page every time the user navigates. So let's understand this definition by example. So I will opening a Gmail website. Okay. So first time the page is loading now and it loads the entire page. Okay. Suppose if now we will change the tabs. If we go to steered, snoozed, only routes are changing, but it is not reloading the entire page. Okay, so this is an example of single page application where browser renders entire HTML, CSS, and JavaScript all at once, and then dynamically updates the view. Whereas example of multi-page application is Wikipedia, where what happens if you go to wikipedia.com or wikipedia.org, and if you change the tab, see the page is reloading every time you click on another tab. So this is example of multi-page applications. So you can read this point. I will be sharing this PPT document, so you can read this point and understand more about single page application. Our next topic is MVC architecture or model view controller architecture. So what happens? There are three blocks in MVC architecture: view, controller, and model. So what happens when a user makes a request through view? It goes to the controller. Controller acts as a middle person, okay, and controller sends the request to model, and model updates the database, and then model or API sends a success request to the controller, and then that request controller again sends back to the view. So we can say controller acts as middle person between view and model. So this is the whole flow diagram of model view architecture. Our next topic is component-based architecture. Component-based architecture is a way of building application where UI is broken down into small, independent, reusable pieces called component. Each component represents a specific part of UI, has its own HTML, CSS, and logic bundled together. So what happens in this method? Suppose if you take the example of this Gmail website, so what will in this architecture we will be breaking down the view into smaller components. Like this search bar could be one component. This emails could be another component, and whereas this menu bar could be other component. So what happens that by using this architecture, we can make sure that we can reuse the components wherever it is required. Suppose this is like inbox. If we want to use the same search bar component in steered route, so it is usually it can be easily done. Okay, so this is the advantage of using component-based architecture. So advantages of using component-based architectures are reusability, maintainability, separation of concern, and scalability. Let us now learn difference between AngularJS and Angular. So most of the guys get confused between both of them. So AngularJS, any Angular version less than 2 is written in JavaScript. Okay, and that is called AngularJS. Whereas any version greater than 2 has been written in TypeScript, and that version is called Angular. So then don't get confused between AngularJS and Angular. AngularJS follows MVC architecture, whereas Angular follows component-based architecture. AngularJS has been written in JavaScript, whereas Angular has been written in TypeScript. Okay, so there are a list of differences present in this PPT, so you can go through it. Now we have understand all the elements to understand what is Angular. So let us go through it. So Angular is a web application framework created and maintained by Google. So one thing you have to make sure that Angular is a framework. It is not a library like React.js. So don't confuse between both of them. So in many interviews, these questions have been asked. So please don't get confused. It is used for building dynamic, interactive, and scalable single-page applications, website that behave more like desktop apps without constant full-page reloads. So we have already learned what is single-page application. So Angular is like mostly used to build such kind of application. What is dynamic and interactive means? Dynamic and interactive means user can interact with the web pages. They can update the database. They can interact with the database, and they can send requests. Okay, so such kind of facility is available in Angular. So Angular is written in TypeScript. Okay, and it is component driven, and it follows MVC's architecture. It does not strictly follows MVC architecture, but here component comes into the play. Component is the one which sends and updates the data in the model or view. Okay, so component is the middleware between model and view. Okay, Angular have built-in tools, comes with routing, HTTP services, forms handling, animations, and more. No need to assemble from scratch. So Angular has already pre-written codes for such kind of functionality, so we can use it directly. And also Angular offers two-way data binding, so any changes in the UI will update the database and vice versa. Okay, so that's all in what is Angular video. If you have any doubts, then please join our Discord community. So link you can get from our channel. Okay, as well as you can join our WhatsApp community also for Angular learners. Okay, and don't forget to subscribe this channel. Have fun and have a good day. Bye.